Hello everyone, it's Jennifer and thank you for joining me today. We are going to use this Color Trends Mix Illuminating and we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects, maybe 6. I love these cube beads and I kind of just want to put them in my stash, but we'll see how it goes. I left these little scraps here. It looks like I'm missing one scrap, but I've already wire wrapped. And so I wire wrapped all 4 of these links here. And I am going to connect them using some jump rings from the Bead Variety Pack, where you can grab this at jessiejamesbeads.com. And I have some extra jump rings you'll see here. And then I have a lobster clasp. Oh, I was trying to show the scraps. So these are the only scraps that I had. When I do the wire wrapping, I work from the spool. And so I try to minimize as much scraps as possible. I do like scraps because I will use them for projects or for when I'm trying to put things together to see if they look well together, how they're going to stack up. I always keep some soft flex beading wire close by, and I do always keep a few scrap pieces of wire, but I have been working from the spool. When I say work, and also too, when I say working from the spool, I have these humongous spools here, and that's a lot of the reason why I do it, because I always like to end where I can wrap it up or tack it down. And so I just unwind a bunch and then I start using wire wrapping, and that's how come I don't have a whole lot of scraps. But the first project we're gonna do, I think this is gonna be maybe a bracelet, not sure yet. But we're going to make this into a bracelet. And when you look at this, you say, wow, that's kind of short. Well, because we're also going to use some mother-son chain for the other half of the bracelet. So the first thing I want to do is I have wire wrapped all these, and I'm looking at these because you see how the wrap starts right here. So this is where I started my wrap. I call that the front. That I call the back. You see the difference? So then when I am linking them, I link them all with the front in the same direction. And I'm going to use these jump rings. I thought of adding some little dangles, but I want to use the rest of the beads. So you can always make this into one and add dangles on the side here and do some other fun things. I do like the dangles, but I'm going to double up the chain on the other side. And so we'll just see what it looks like. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take my jump rings and I'm going to open them up like this. And I want the front to be there. I'm going to grab this side and I want the front to be there. And we're going to do some more wire wrapping. So I will show you how I wire wrap. Okay, do the little fingernail test. Looks good, because of course this isn't by my face. So it's very hard to see, but okay, so we have that just like that. So we have the front. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my jump ring. And I've mentioned how I call one the front and one the back. I think I've mentioned that before. So if you've heard it in every single video that I've done with wire wrap loops, I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that made sure that it's all put together and do the little fingernail test. Okay. Let's do the last one here. And we'll go ahead and put this one on first. And then this one on last. And this is where I'm going to determine how much chain I need. You notice I didn't get my chain ready because I'm not sure how long this is going to be. All right, so I was hoping for this to be about half, and it is about half. So for my large wrist, it is about half. So that is, it's 4 inches, but you have to take into consideration the beads. All right, so this is kind of where that is, and I kind of like that because I have the little links on the ends. So let's see how much that is. That is about 3.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this link here. Being very careful because I don't want to ruin the chain either. And again, this chain is available at jessiejeansbeads.com. Then what I want to do is, since this, I'm not going to use this, and so now I can see my length and I can see that I want to open up that one there. So let's go ahead and get this one. And this Mother Sun chain comes also in a gorgeous gold color. It's beautiful. Yes, I have it. Of course I have it. All right, so now let's go ahead and do that. So now I have my 2 links. And we'll go ahead and get that put back together because we're going to have more. I'm going to use it again. All right, so now I have my 2 links. And that's what we're going to do there. So I'm going to go ahead and one side is going to go directly onto that chain, which that would be a good place to have a dangle, wouldn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and get one side on there. There we go. And let's get the other side. There we go. Then also too, this is a good time to go ahead and double check your length. Get that nice close together, do the little fingernail test. And this is where it would be a good time to do a length. And so when I look at that, that's even long for me. So what I'm probably gonna do is take off another link here, because I'm gonna have I am going to have still 2 more jump rings plus the lobster clasp. Okay, and then we could put that back together. Let's go ahead and take one of these off. And they do go back together. You know, you can reuse this. It just takes a little finesse, and probably having the links up at your face is probably better. So there, see, I got that. Can't even tell. All right. So let me just do another double check, and that is perfect. Okay, oh, and I have my stamp. I went to baseball this morning, so I have a little stamp. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to, maybe what I'll do is I'll do like 2 small links. Maybe I'll do, let's get some smaller ones. Did I get a smaller one? I did. Oh, I want 2 smaller ones. Okay. So what I'm going to do on this side, I'm going to go ahead and use a smaller one, but I want to tighten up one of these larger ones because I'm going to use this as my clasp, or the connector that I'm going to clasp that. So I wanted to get that. Let's move those guys out of the way. We'll put them back in the box. Isn't that variety pack just the coolest? And it was just one item. Okay, so I don't want these all twisted. Though twisted would be kind of cute. So let's go ahead and get these guys on. Okay, and then before I close it up, because I only like to open and close, I like to only open and close these like once, if I can get away with that. All right, so now we have that. Now we need our lobster clasp over here. And I am going to use all of the beads with the exception of, oh, look there. You see how there's not really a hole to get that through? Let's grab my trusting beading awl here. Get that in there and get that opened up again. Get the protector on there. All right. So let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and get this on there. And there, do the little fingernail test. All is well. And here we have it. We have a gorgeous little bracelet. Oh, and something that I always do prior to even using a lobster clasp is I always open and close them several times. Sometimes there's a bad one. Sometimes you get a bad one in the batch, and it happens. And so I go through a whole big testing. You'll see me tug test. You'll see me, open and close them several times just so that I can make sure that it's not going to get damaged. So there is the first item, and this is a bracelet. I'm going to put my extras over here. I'm going to go ahead and toss my scraps. All right, so you heard me mention that I love the cube beads. I love the cube beads more than I can express. So, but I wanted to make a pair of earrings, and I am using one of the cube crystal beads. Then I have two of those spacers, and you see how I have them lined up. And then I have one of the yellow crystals. Then I'm also using some ear wires from Beadalon, also available at jessiejamesbeads.com. Also too, the Beadalon German style wire is available on their website too. I don't think they have these huge of spools, but they have variety packs where they have 18, 20, 22, and 24 gauge, which is incredible. And that's what I got. So when I first started using the German style wire, because it's different than your craft wire, I bought the variety pack so that I could work with it a little bit. And oh my goodness, so I have big spools of all of them now. So we're gonna go ahead and make these cute little earrings. Very, very, very simple. I have a head pin. These are Beadalon head pins. Amazing, I love these head pins. And I believe they are available at jessiejamesbeads.com too, because I think that's where I got them. And I have them in a little baggie here because they were in a little bag inside one of the packages. And of course I just ripped it open, and that was that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our head pin. I like it because it's flat on the end, and look how gorgeous that is. You don't have it, it does go flat. So it is absolutely perfect. I'm going to thread, I'm going to thread, I'm going to thread, and I'm going to thread. Okay, and so now I just want to make sure I have that all nice and tidy. And I'm going to come in with my tippy tip. All right, so here we go again. Okay, form that over, hold on, rotate my wrist, and then bring that on back. It looks wonky, so I'm going to go ahead and roll my wrist and do that. Now let's see if we can get it a little better. So now I'm going to wrap. And what it was that the beads were spinning, and I didn't want them to spin. The other one doesn't spin, so I don't want this one to spin. And I don't think this one's going to spin at all. Once I get it tightened down, once I tighten down the back end here, it will probably be better. And again, that was something that I would have done off camera. I didn't because I want to show that I make mistakes. I redo. Okay, here we go. Much better. It still moves, but not like how it was. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up these gorgeous ear wires and thread on, and I'm just opening them like a jump ring, closing them like a jump ring. And here we have a gorgeous pair of earrings. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to bring in some soft flex, and I think I'm going to use this gorgeous yellow for this. We are going to go ahead and do a little bit of, we're going to do a little bit of like a little bit of weaving. I'm going to use these spacers not as spacers per se. I am going to use them as like the innie outie. So they're going to go like that. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double this up so that I can do that. So I'm going to go probably about 20 inches, and I'm using the Lemon Quartz Soft Flex Medium. Okay, and let me go grab some crimp tubes. I went ahead and grabbed some gunmetal crimp tubes. These are from Soft Flex Company, and just because the silver, I guess I'm just trying to maybe change it up a little bit. I'm just changing it up a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is I need to have this doubled up, and this is actually, this side can actually be the side that I attach my my lobster clasp onto. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert my crimp tube. I'm going to go right here, and I just need a loop to be able to attach my my lobster clasp to. I'm probably going to use one of the Bead-A-Long lobster clasps. You see how I did this here to get those to get the wires separated. Okay, and what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some magical crimpers, and what these do is, as you can see, these just have one well. They have one well and they form like a square, and then you so the first crimp is a square, so it's like a ravioli, as Sarah Ayler says. Then you turn at 90-degree angles and you crimp it again, and you just keep on crimping around while you're in that well, and your ravioli becomes a meatball. It ends up looking like a bead, and it's incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And so I have my wires separated, and you just have to make sure you have it in there right exactly right. And then I want my loop to be like that. So there we go, and we have kind of an off-centered square, and then you just start going around and around and around, and you eventually end up with, and I go until I don't feel any tension, and so then you end up coming out with a bead-like, and this is not my most attractive one I've ever done in my entire life, because there is a method to this. I don't have it up at my face, but that is going to work. Cute. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is my first thing, I think what I'm going to do is I have this guy, and so what I'm going to do is I am going to go in one end and out the other, and in one end, out the other. This has been used quite a bit lately in a bunch of different projects. And so I just thought, oh, that could work for my project too. So I am just pulling to get those to the end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to end up having that. So maybe I should add maybe a bead here. Maybe I'll add a bead here first. So here's our little audible. Let's go ahead and bring in one of these guys. Okay, so we'll bring in one of those guys. And then we'll go ahead now and go in and out, in and out, and go ahead and bring that. And you want it to be even so that now when you go over to this other side, so now let's get it a little more even. I'm pulling on the wrong end and I'm off camera. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and insert our next bead. Again, this is also from the Illuminating. And I knew that was going to go through there because I sort of tested it a little bit. All right, so now we have that. Okay, so that's what one side looks like. That's what the other, depending on how it falls on your, oh, those look like lips, huh? With a, maybe not, just the top of lips. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the same thing with this guy. And we're gonna pass this through the other side. Just like so. And just every once in a while, kind of just keep it a little. So this is actually already 3 inches. So if I were to do this and that, so I'm thinking, and then I'm going to be using another one of these guys too. So I'm thinking I do not have to use, because that right there will be about 6 inches already if I do it this way. So I'm going to leave these guys out. I'm going to add this guy, and then this guy at the end. Let me see what that gets me. That gets me about 6. And I feel like I want just a little bit more than 6. Well, but by the time I get that, that'll probably be about 6.5. So, yeah, I can still do that. So we're going to go ahead and just do these just like that. And then I'll save these for, we'll use this stuff in another project. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I am going to mess with the sizing here a little bit. All right, so here we go there. It just looks so pretty. I'm going to try to get exactly the same sizes going so that I can have it spaced out perfectly. Let's go ahead and do this. And here we go again. And here we go there. All right. So if I were to do that, that is right at 6 inches. And if I add my other side, unless I just, let's go ahead and let's just try and add one more. So let's try to bring this a little closer and that a little closer and these guys a little closer. Let's just try bringing things a little more closer, or a little closer. More closer is not proper terminology here. grammar, proper grammar. Okay, let's make sure we're pulling on the right guys. All right, so we're just fiddling. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use I'm going to use another one of those guys too. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy on there. And what I'm doing is, if my rambling is a little off, I'm just trying to bring things a little closer so that I can fit more and have a good size, so things are spaced out correctly. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull one more of these guys on there. And so I just tightened that up a little bit. And we'll put one of these guys. And then we're going to end up with this one. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to just start adjusting. And I don't care how these are going. I mean, I want them to be spaced correctly and that type of thing. That's what I'm mostly looking for, is the spacing. Okay. That is perfect. So that right there is 6.5 inches, and I have everything that I want. That is darling. 6.5 inches will not fit on my wrist, but I'm not making this for me. That is cute. I love it. Okay. Then of course, after you get this all done and spaced out, so maybe this can be brought out a little bit more. You can just kind of, once you have it all put in place, you can start messing with those to get those to a good spacing. All right, so now let's go ahead and get this guy on there. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and pass one through. And you're going, wait, you haven't put on your lobster clasp. I don't put it on. I mean, it's very rare that I put on my lobster clasp directly onto my beading wire. And here's why. A lobster clasp can fail. And if I have my lobster clasp that failed, then I have to restring it. I don't want to do that. I would rather replace the lobster clasp without having to restring. Okay, let's go ahead and pass this guy through, because that's where he's trying to go. He's trying to stay on this side. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring this, and I am really moving over here. Okay, so now let's get this. Everything looks pretty even. And now I'm going to come in with my crimper. I'm going to try and get that on there just a little bit better and give it a crimp. Oh, that's much better. Still not a complete square, but I am going to now start going around until this forms a little ball. And again, there is a science to this. Probably, I mean, I've gone through entire projects, got to the end, and I was impatient and didn't really crimp correctly. Okay, so that still not the best. I'm probably not maybe the best person then to be showing the crimp. But it's not up at my face. And when it's up at my face, it does so much better. All right, so let's go ahead and come in and give this a trim. And let's go ahead and give this guy a trim on this side. Okay. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Let's go ahead and grab. And again, I know this is silver. I know that that's silver right there, but I'm using some, no, I'm not going to use. I am going to use some other silver, kind of a pewterish silver. So let me go grab another lobster clasp and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy open. I had to move my desk all around because I have so much everywhere. It's absolutely crazy how much I have everywhere. And I had to move it around, so I'm at the end of my desk rather than in kind of like the middle. It's L-shaped, and I'm usually in the middle of where the bend is. And so everything is different. All of my spacing, how I have my lighting, everything. All right, so now we have our necklace. Pretty cute. I might change this one out to be maybe a darker silver. That looks a little too shiny. But there we have another bracelet. And again, you can mess with the spacing of all of this here to make it as you like. And there we go. Now, I've made 3 projects and I feel like it's been a really, really long time. Please give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it, and comment. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say, and subscribe. So until very soon next time, have a good one.